From your perspective, what can possibly be accomplished that would truly help, would boost American businesses?
Thanks, Contessa. I think that we have to face the reality that there's nothing that's going to be accomplished in this meeting in terms of deliverables that is going to immediately help American businesses. But the point of the meeting is really, as we were just talking about, to set a floor under the relationship. That indicates that the relationship's in a really bad place. It's been in a really bad place. Setting a floor under the relationship is a good start for American businesses because we certainly can't improve the operating environment or the business climate or the ability to project 5 years, 10 years out in the future and make business plans without having a little bit more stability here.
Are there risks to this meeting, or is it all upside?
There are, of course, risks to this meeting, but I think the fact that we're having the meeting is really important. I don't want to overstate the significance of the meeting in the sense of what it might actually accomplish. This really is about focusing on red lines and making sure that we don't inadvertently end up in a conflict. However, the two presidents haven't met in person at all since President Biden took office. That there hasn't been a meeting between a U.S. president and President Xi Jinping since the beginning of the pandemic. Other leaders have now met with Xi Jinping this year. So the fact that we're having an in-person meeting is very important for the bilateral relationship. Moreover, if the two leaders had gone to the G20 and not met, or if one had decided not to go, maybe in order to avoid a meeting, that would have signaled that we were on a much worse track.
Taiwan seems like a very touchy subject and one that's likely to be handled with kid gloves, if at all. But I'm curious, there's other issues that I know are top of mind for the CEOs who manage multinational companies. Tariffs, you've got the zero COVID infection policy that is just crushing so many businesses in China and leading to more supply chain issues. You've got issues about Chinese access to U.S. technology. Do you think that there's going to be movement on any of those issues, if not now, following this bilateral meeting, in the near future?
The near future, probably not. But I think the fact that there is this conversation indicates that we may be in a moment where both leaders feel confident in their shoring up of their domestic support and sort of have turned the page and may be ready to begin the process of getting back to the table on some of these issues. I wouldn't expect any of the trade issues to come first. The tariffs aren't going anywhere in the near term, probably not in the medium term either. But the technology issues are really sensitive ones that certainly China is going to be anxious to see not escalate. I expect that they probably will escalate. We've gotten signals from the Biden administration already that there will be additional executive orders. However, how those executive orders are couched and what it means for businesses that want to be able to continue to trade with China and sell to China and really aren't making goods that are that have a nexus with national security or that could help China to modernize its military is important. We want to be able to keep trade open for every lane possible.
I'm just curious, now that Xi has sort of cemented his power and control over the party and over the nation, do you anticipate a rolling back of the zero COVID infection policy? And we're seeing so much back and forth in the headlines about this.
We certainly are. And I think, the short answer is that Beijing realizes that it's not a sustainable policy, but at the same time, there's not an easy off-ramp for Beijing. So we're seeing signals that they are setting the stage for some sort of gradual rollback, but it's not going to be all at once, and it is not going to be precipitous. It's not going to be immediate. We will probably see this take place over the coming months. And it will be rocky as it does take place, because as people get exposed, of course, there will be spread of infection, and there will be hospitals that are overwhelmed.
And we're seeing that now already, the COVID outbreak worsening.